And the ball is at the 24-yard line with a 3rd and 4 upcoming. The Boz freshly quaffed. 3rd and 4 from the 24. Craig unloading, intended for John L. Williams, but he was covered by Martin, and Stacy Turan forced the issue with a safety blitz.
And a well-timed safety blitz. The key with a safety blitz is how well do you time it? How well do you disguise it? If you get right on the line of scrimmage, you show it. You can see that time that Turan was about 6 or 7 yards back. Craig didn't suspect it. John L. Williams certainly didn't. And he never looked back for the football until it was too late.
4th down and 4. And Ruben Rodriguez, a left-footed kicker, 5th-round draft choice out of Arizona, and very, very inconsistent. Kicked well early on and not very well over the past month. And this is a short, wobbly kick, but he gets another good bounce, or a decent bounce anyway, as it finally goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And the Raiders will take over there. 1st and 10, Los Angeles at the 41-yard line. Game tied, and Bo Jackson gets a block and gets the 1st down as he takes it to the 44-yard line. And the way was led by Charlie Hanna, number 73.
You saw the size and the acceleration. It's hard to believe that he can do this at 6'1" and about 230 pounds. He found the little opening, got a block, as you said, Al, from Charlie Hanna, who was just back into the lineup for the Raiders in this makeshift offensive line. That's Hanna, number 73. Number 76 is Holloway, coming all the way from the left side. But then when it closed down on him, he just put his head down and bowls him on his own for about 3 or 4 yards. What power.
Jackson comes out for a breather, so Allen is the sole setback in this set, with Lofton left and Williams right, and Trey Junkin in as a double tight end along with Christensen. And it's Marcus Allen after a gain of about 2, taking it to the 42 and making it 2nd and 8, and that will do it for the 1st quarter. So 15 minutes gone at the Kingdome, and at the end of the 1st quarter, it's the Raiders 7 and Seattle 7.
Turner, and you're watching NFL Network.
Al Michaels with Frank Gifford and Dan Deerdorf. Monday Night Football from the Great Northwest. Seattle 7-7 as we start the 2nd quarter. Raiders have the ball at the Seattle 42-yard line. 2nd down and 8 with Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen. Both in. Wilson the quarterback. Lofton left and Dokie Williams to the right. Williams in motion. And Bo Jackson follows Allen and bangs his way down to the 30-yard line for another Raider 1st down, and Marcus Allen laid down the block, taking Eugene Robinson out.
I looked at Dan. Dan looked at me and said, hey, this guy is different.
I don't know. It might be better to get blocked than have to try to tackle this guy. Look at Marcus Allen. That's the kind of work you have to do, but that's Kenny Easley, one of the hardest hitters in the league at strong safety, number 45, that just bounced off of Bo Jackson.
Granted, he's playing with a bad shoulder, tackles with the wrong shoulder, but that's a good way to get another bad shoulder.
From the 30-yard line, it's Jackson. And it takes about 4 of them to get him down at the 28-yard line. 2nd down and 8 from the 28-yard line, and the catch is made by Todd Christensen. A 1st down at the 18, his 2nd catch.
The Raiders' offensive line, a makeshift offensive line, has been that way all year long because of injuries. They have started their 11th different offensive line tonight, but they are doing a fine job protecting for Mark Wilson. The Seahawks are doing a lot of dealing up there, trying to confuse them, and it's very difficult to learn to block offensively against the pass, Dan, unless you've had an opportunity to work together for a period of time.
It is the key more than anything else, Frank, playing on the offensive line. Getting some continuity. 11 lines and 11 games. That's not the way to do it.
This is Marcus Allen taking it to the 14, and that time it was Steve Smith, a rookie out of Penn State, in at fullback as Jackson came to the bench. Brian Bosworth in on the stop.
Now just think about what Marcus Allen is being asked to do this season. He played fullback the previous play. That time switches back to tailback when Bo Jackson goes out. as we look at Steve Smith, who came in to play that play at fullback. But Marcus Allen is having to change roles play by play, from blocker to runner to receiver. There aren't many superstars in the game that are that unselfish. Oh, the tackler, as he's bringing down Marcus Allen right into the back of the legs of Steve Smith, and he's on the Raider bench. We'll give you a report as soon as one becomes available.
2nd down and 7, and for the first time now, Wilson comes up and can't hear the signals. And Wilson, knowing what he's going to get on 2nd and 7 at the 14. Jackson goes in motion for the first time. Wilson protected well, wide open is Jackson for the touchdown. Bo in motion, goes to the corner of the end zone. Fred Young that time blitzed. He was picked up by Marcus Wilson. That enabled Marcus Allen, and it enables Mark Wilson to hit Jackson for the touchdown.
Full-blown defense. There's no question about it. Somebody should have come off the blitz to pick him up. No one even near him.
Well, that's because one of the Seahawk defenders fell down on the play. We'll take a look at this from another angle, but the guy who's supposed to be covering Bo Jackson on the play ends up on the ground. Let's see if we can spot it from this angle. But when Bo makes his break to the end zone, and I don't think we're going to see it there, one of the Seahawk defenders ends up on the ground, and that's why number 34 is wide open.
Barr with Wilson holding, boots it through, and so the Raiders, who had fallen behind early, have come back with back-to-back touchdowns on successive drives and lead 14-7.
This is Bo Jackson just down, but watch this guy right here. When he makes his break, down he goes onto the ground. Jackson in motion. He makes his cut to the inside and to the ground. And I think that's Kenny Easley who gets back up. Yes, it is. Kenny Easley fell. That's why Bo Jackson gives the Raiders the lead on an easy touchdown.
Bo Jackson, who ran for 2 scores last week, picks up his first NFL touchdown on a pass, and the Raiders are on top by a score of 14-7. As Barr puts it in the air, and Edmonds takes it at the 7. Edmonds out past the 25 and then ridden down out at the 30-yard line. They take the ball away. Jamie Kimmel was in on the tackle, and the ball winds up in the hands of Steve Strahan, but after the play was blown dead. Seahawks now at their own 31. 12:09 to play in the half. And Craig gets dropped at the 25. There's no flag. Jerry Robinson comes charging through. And the Raiders came flying across the line.
Well, they blitzed both of their inside linebackers. Matt Millen came as well, and they timed it pretty well. Both of them hitting the line of scrimmage. Watch them both come into the screen. There's Millen at the top, Robinson the near man, and there just aren't enough blue shirts there. John L. Williams tries to get up and make the block, and actually does, but not before Jerry Robinson gets that arm on Dave Craig's jersey.
2nd down and 16. And the streak is now 148, who makes the catch out at the 30-yard line. Steve Largent picking up about 4, and that extends his streak, which he broke last year. He broke Harold Carmichael's record. He now has caught a pass in 148 straight.
Simple little pattern. Just keep in mind, nobody works harder than Largent. You saw him do the little breakout, break it back, give you the angle, but nobody works harder than he does in practice. He's probably done that particular little execution with Craig maybe 1,000 times, maybe 2,000 times. He just gets it down to perfection.
3rd down and 11 out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Craig stepping up and stepping out and stepping out of bounds out at the 32-yard line, but the Raiders secondary did their job, and Seattle will have to kick.
Good coverage by the Raiders.
Now Ruben Rodriguez to kick, and that's Chris Woods. Back to receive.
Teammate of Bo Jackson's.
Yeah. Went to Canada. And now playing with the Raiders. And Rodriguez, 2 pretty ugly punts, but not bad in terms of numbers. 42 and 35, because he's gotten some good bounces.
Last week he had a 2-yarder. He had to down himself.
This one's a wobbly average kick, and Woods falls down, and it will turn out to be a beauty on the stat sheet because it will be downed at the 5-yard line.
That's a 30-yard mistake by Woods.
And it turns a 33-yard punt into a 63-yard punt.
A roster spot.
Well, Ruben Rodriguez someday can tell his children he just established a Seattle record with a 63-yard punt. My son, you should have seen that kick.
On the heels of me talking about his 2-yarder last week.
I hope he doesn't have a video of it to show his son.
Herman Weaver held the old mark at 62, and he did it twice. First down, L.A. from the 5, and Wilson going right up top and going deep for Lofton, and Lofton is out of bounds. Out of bounds, covered by Terry Taylor.
Well, if that looks familiar to you, that's classic Raider football. Going over the top out of their own end zone. The Raiders from anywhere on the field will go long, and that time Mark Wilson just didn't have enough arm. James Lofton was a couple yards beyond Terry Taylor and had to break stride, come back for the ball, which ultimately ended up out of bounds.
Wilson off to a good start tonight. His club ahead 14-7. And it's Marcus Allen taking it out to the 8-yard line. Allen, in his last 3 games against Seattle, has been held in check early in his career. He did a lot of damage against the Seahawks. 3rd down and 6 at the 9. And Bo Jackson to the 20 and out in front, and only one man to beat, and Easley can't run him down. He had the angle, but there goes Bo, and nobody catches Bo. Touchdown.
He may not stop till Tacoma. He's gone.
Portland.
He just went by Spokane.
And there go the Raiders into final. What a scene.
Come on back, guys.
Oh, he was flying. Tremendous block by Marcus Allen against Patrick Hunter. That's twice they have used Bo Jackson on that same play. They did it on a 2nd down and long a while ago. They got a 1st down. They come back now and go 3rd and about 6. And not only get the 1st down, they get the touchdown. And he is an awesome weapon.
And keep in mind, that was a 3rd down play from the 9-yard line. 3rd and 6. You'll see Dean Maraldi, the center, pull out of there. Steve Wright, the right tackle. But, I mean, it's over right there. Kenny Easley has the angle. And it's like little kids chasing a grown man.
It's the longest run in Raider history. Kenny King won 89 yards in 1980. And it's almost unfair the way Bo Jackson has looked the last couple of weeks. And the Raiders may be going through a 7-game losing streak at the moment. But Mr. Bo Jackson is in the silver and black. And what a difference that's going to make.
Heard so much about
how long
football abilities. We look at it again. He was also in the semifinals of the NCAA 60-meter championship. There you see just putting a straight arm on poor Eugene Robinson, who had no chance. You have got to tackle somebody like this low, and that's what Chuck Knox talked about today. Robinson did not get in on him, and he just turns on that tremendous speed and races away from Easley.
Well, it's just like a track meet, too, where they disappear. They cross the finish line, break the tape, and disappear under the stands, and that's exactly what Bo does.
This is Bo Jackson right here. Marcus Allen, watch his lead block. Right tackle, right guard, both pull and lead up. But when he gets to this point right here, I'm afraid that's nothing more than sheer unadulterated speed.
There's Allen on Hunter.
There's Maraldi out in front, but he never even gets into the play. Both his offensive linemen are just totally out of it because Bo Jackson saw the hole and just outruns not only his own players, but everybody in the blue jersey as well.
You know, Easley is not a blazing speedster, but that's kind of embarrassing.
Well, he ain't slow either.
Yep.
The fastest man on the Raider team, and just stop and think what I'm saying. That's a team that has James Lofton, a world-class sprinter, and Bo Jackson easily the fastest.
Edmonds takes Barr's kick at the 5. and brings it back out to the 29-yard line, stopped by Andy Parker with 9:33 to go in the first half, and this crowd suddenly very quiet, stunned, and I think very much in awe at the moment, as is Chuck Knox.
You look back over what's transpired. You got the touchdown pass, even though he easily slipped on that by Bo Jackson. You got a key first down on a second and long yardage by Bo Jackson that kept that drive alive, and now you have Jackson just doing it almost on his own, taking it all the way. He is responsible for all 21 of those points. Do something.
First and 10 at the 29-yard line. And it's knocked down. Largent was the intended receiver, and knocking it down and almost picking it off was Stacy Turan.
The Raiders falling back into a zone, expecting pressure up front. Howie Long, a man who has almost been forgotten because of this situation. Every time that man rushes the quarterback, there are two men on him. There's Largent trying to find the seam in the zone, and Turan with a nice play from the inside, got both hands on the football but just couldn't pull it in. Largent was in the right spot. Turan just played it very well.
Second and 10, Seattle at the 29. Raiders ahead 21-7. Craig pressured. Throws complete out to the 32-yard line. Catch made there by the tight end Tice. And it will be third down coming up. Third down and about 6.
And the Seattle defensive people, their defensive coordinator Tom Catlin, Chuck Knox and all, they're desperately wanting their offensive team here to give them a little break. Pick up a couple first downs, at least get 2 first downs before you have to punt the football away. Granted, they're really looking for points, but they've got to convert this third down or all the momentum in the world is riding with LA.
Third down and call it 7 to go out of the shotgun. 3rd and 7. And a first down as Scansey makes the catch. Scansey got inside James Davis, the 6th defensive back for the Raiders. And Scansey able to get position on him, take the pass, and pick up the first down at the 45-yard line. Seahawks at their own 45-yard line. Fake to Williams. Blitz is on. Sack. A fumble. Loose ball at the 30-yard line as Mark Wright takes a look. And Seattle is able to maintain possession back at the 30 after a 15-yard loss.
And Kurt Warner was the only Seahawk that had a shot at that ball. A couple of different Raiders had a play on the football.
Both outside linebackers coming. Lyndon King, the former Charger. Rod Martin coming from his right side, and really nowhere for Craig to go. There comes King on the right, and here comes Rod Martin. And it was Lyndon King who got the hand in there to pull the ball loose.
And if Kurt Warner doesn't pull that up, you see nothing but white jerseys there. That could have easily been a Raider touchdown.
Second down, 24 from the 31-yard line. Craig pressured again and sacked at the 22-yard line.
That's going to be a fumble.
That's loose.
And the Raiders have it. The Raiders have it. Greg Townsend with the pop. Sean Jones with the recovery.
Raiders fired up defensively by the play of Bo Jackson as well. You've just seen the momentum gradually change until it swung all the way to the Raiders, and a great play by Greg Townsend.
Well, there's a limit to how long the quarterback can hold on to the football. And Dave Craig really had pretty good protection initially. Inside, Howie Long takes the inside. Bill Pickell loops around from behind. But Dave Craig still looking downfield, doesn't even seem to sense the pressure. And Greg Townsend coming in from his right, from Craig's right, makes the play.
And so the Raiders ahead by 14 have a 1st and 10 at the Seattle 21-yard line. 7:06 to go in the half.
And who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. Well, a break for the Seahawks here. Bo Jackson for the moment is on the sideline. As Vance Mueller is the tailback, and Mueller with his first carry does a pretty good Jackson imitation, taking it down to the 13-yard line for a gain of close to 9.
Bosworth getting buffeted around a bit there. Coming off the line of scrimmage. Popping Bosworth was Maraldi, the right guard, just flying right out into his face.
First time this season the Raiders have scored touchdowns on 3 straight possessions, and it's Marcus Allen for a first down and setting up a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. And the Raiders have done exactly what Tom Flores wanted. He's taken the crowd out of the game. It's very silent in the normally noisy Kingdome because of what you're looking at right there. Those 3 consecutive touchdowns, and now a 1st and goal at the 5.
They're quiet. They're stunned. And again, it's an offensive line, a makeshift offensive line. 11th time they've come with a new offensive line, and they are blowing the Seahawks out of there right now.
1st and goal. Marcus Allen takes it to the 2, and there's a marker.
On a running play, that's probably going to be holding on the offense. You see that more often than you would think on running plays. Jerry Markwright gives us the call, and the Raiders, who've been having it pretty much their way, now are going to have to work a little extra hard for a touchdown. Hey, how do you think this game right now is being received in San Diego and Denver?
Holding, number 72, offense, 1st down.
And now it's 1st and goal back out at the 15-yard line. Jackson still on the bench with Mueller and Allen the backs, and Marcus Allen gets stopped for no gain. Bryant got him around the legs, and another marker is down here. This game, of course, being received very well in San Diego and Denver at this point. Here's Markwright again, another holding blow against the Raiders. If the Raiders win this game, San Diego stays alone on top, and Seattle would drop behind Denver.
Number 77, offense, 1st down.
The just activated Chris Ream.
He just came into the lineup for Charlie Hanna, who had to go out. Charlie Hanna re-injured. He's over the sidelines. They're looking at him, and it is Chris Ream now. And once again, the Raiders have to make an adjustment in their offensive line.
So 1st and goal now out at the 25-yard line. Lofton left and Williams to the right. And Mueller goes in motion. Toss to Marcus Allen, and he gets bottled up at the 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal. The run by Bo Jackson of 91 yards is the longest run in the National Football League since Tony Dorsett went 99 on a Monday night for an NFL record. January of '83, the tail end of the '82 season, and it's the longest run since that night.
That was against Minnesota, wasn't it? You know, in this long yardage situation here, I might ask Bo Jackson if he felt like playing a couple plays.
2nd down, goal. Screen to Allen inside the 20, Marcus inside the 10, and he takes it down to the 6-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal. And Marcus Allen has just caught a pass in his 64th consecutive game, as you see, a Raiders record.
Good call, long yardage. Pump fake it downfield. Allen set up like he's going to block, slips out, gets a couple of blockers out in front of him, and the Seahawk defense all dispersed downfield, and Allen takes it down inside the 10, close to the 6-yard line.
3rd down goal, 4 minutes to play in the half. 21-7 Raiders. Wilson buying a lot of time, throwing into the end zone, and incomplete. Good coverage. Todd Christensen couldn't hang on. Robinson was there, and Gaines as well, number 56.
Well, you have to wonder how Mark Wilson has that much time. It's not even play action faking or anything up front. He just drifted back, rolled to his left, and had a good 7 or 8 seconds. Boy, do you have to pass along some credit to the Seahawks secondary for staying with their people for that length of time.
So now Barr to attempt the field goal. Wilson holding at the 13-yard line. 23-yard attempt. And the Raiders come away with 3 after the Seattle fumble. Over the last 3 years, Barr is now 21 of 21 inside 30 yards. And that was an automatic for him. And the Raiders, with 3:42 to go in the first half, lead Seattle 24-7.
Relive championship weekend.
For the first time since expressing his desire to return to the NFL, Brett Favre is breaking his silence. Today he spoke with Greta Van Susteren from Fox News about his discussions with Packers management.
You guys have a different path? Fine. What does that mean for me? And so I say, so that means either you give me my helmet, welcome back, you release me, or attempt to trade me. And we all know that that's a possibility, but you know, way out there possibility. And he says, well, playing here is not an option, but we can't envision you playing with another team as, either. And I thought, so basically, I'm not playing for anyone.
Now back to Bo versus the Boz, 1987 NFL Classic between the Raiders and Seahawks.
Like Bo Jackson's deal. He comes in, gets you 14 points, goes off, takes a little bit of a breather. He's got a lot of contracts. I wonder if maybe he has something written in this one.
How do you think Tom Flores feels about Bo Jackson? I mean, you get excited when you can see what he can do, but I mean, it's like you only have it until the end of December. That big question mark, what happens next?
Half a loaf is a lot better than none. That kick is fielded, and not a good move by Edmonds, who steps out of bounds. If he lets it go out of bounds, they get it at the 35-yard line. That's the worst thing you can do, make the catch and step out of bounds.
And you're talking about the best in the business, too. A Pro Bowler as a return man. Here's Edmonds, who's been hurting from bad ribs. That had nothing to do with this. And he caught himself, but of course he stepped right on the line. And leaves Seattle in deep trouble when, as Al mentioned, they could have had it at the 35-yard line. You can see it from the reverse angle. He's okay here, but he does catch the line when he tries to keep it in bounds. There it is. They're right on top of it.
Good camera work catching that.
Our guys are all right.
Well, the crowd started to boo. They only showed half the replay, which was why they started to boo, and then up popped the NFL logo on the screen because they don't want to show the crowd controversial calls. Had they let it run, the crowd would have understood he was out of bounds.
Right. Well, bring a portable TV.
Yeah. First and 10, Seattle from the 5-yard line. Warner gives him a little bit of breathing room after the 9 with 3:30 to go in the first half.
They're down 24-7. I know Chuck Knox would love to get something on the board, but he has to be very careful down there. You turn it over down there, and boom, you could go in very easily, 31-7 down.
When you're this far from scoring, you're really not thinking points right now. You're thinking ball control. You're thinking first downs. You're thinking of escaping without giving the other team the opportunity to score. I don't think Chuck Knox is thinking points right now. He's thinking first downs.
2nd and 5 from the 10. Warner tries to get the first down. He's out of bounds, very close to it at the 15-yard line. Run out by McElroy. 2:51 with the clock stopped now. 2:51 left in the half. Kurt Warner, the great rookie year when he led the AFC in rushing, and then the knee injury opening day of '84, and that put him out for the rest of the year. His career appeared to be in jeopardy after the major surgery, but back he's come strong as ever.
Talked so many times about it. Major knee reconstruction, and he came back, of course, with back-to-back seasons of over 1,000 yards in '85 and '86.
Those yardage figures we threw up there are astounding. Not often do you see a team over 300 yards at the half. The Raiders already are, and the Seahawks well below 100. It's a lot of times those yardage figures don't add up to the scoreboard, but in this case they certainly do.
They need an important yard here to keep possession. 3rd and inches from the 15-yard line. And Warner gets buried. He gets hit by Stacey Turan, but it appeared that his progress should give him the first down. Seal says no, but they'll, with a flag down as well, they'll mark it outside the 15-yard line.
Malcolm Taylor, number 96, does a good job at the line of scrimmage standing things up, and Turan came in there, and my gosh, what a hit he puts on Kurt Warner.
Meanwhile, the penalty is against the Raiders, but or against Seattle rather, but the Raiders want to see whether it's a first down or not. If it's a first down, they'll take the penalty.
Holding number 59, offense, 3rd down.
It would have been a first down, so it's Blair Bush, and that'll push him back.
Watch Stacy Toran come in on this play. This short yardage only going for 6 inches. He'll come in from the lower right of our screen. See him drop back off of the ball. Now he reads it in the hole. Face to face.
So back to the 7. 3rd and 7. Largent can't make the catch and appeared to get pushed as well. Stacy Toran with the coverage, but no flag.
If we could, let's take a look up front at Howie Long. Remember I told you how this guy constantly gets double teamed? Well, he's starting this thing off working against Edwin Bailey. In comes Blair Bush, the center, and even the right guard, Brian Millard, works over. Largent makes his break to the inside. He's working against number 43, Sam Seal. Just right before he made the break, there was some contact with Seal, but ruled in the eyes of the official to be incidental.
Now Ruben Rodriguez, who's living right, 46.7 tonight, but his average on the fly is about 28.3. Woods at the 44-yard line and runs it back to the 37. So the Raiders are in good shape as they take over at the 37. Keith Butler, the one-time starting linebacker, one-time Seahawk starter, makes the tackle. 37-yard kick, a 7-yard run back, and 2:09 to play in the first half.
And that man with the big S on his chest is back in there, number 34.
Having dressed in the phone booth, and here he comes.
And I'm sure that's just what Seattle's defensive players want to see. Bo Jackson back in the game.
Wilson shovels it to Marcus Allen, and Allen gets pushed back after taking it to the 33-yard line by Brian Bosworth.
I know what you Seattle fans are saying. How come that's not a sack? Keep in mind the ruling there is grasp and control. Mark Wilson was in the grasp, not the control, and he got rid of the ball.
I want to go to law school sometime.
Tom Flores watching his team on top by 17. Flores winning the Super Bowl twice as a coach. And watching his team tonight attempting to snap a 7-game losing streak.
Bo Jackson split out as a receiver to the near side here.
And it's Allen on 2nd down and 7 to the 29-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and 2 coming up. As the clock runs down, the Raiders have all of their timeouts remaining. 3rd and 2. Williams in motion. And Wilson hits Allen, but he gets buried at the 29-yard line by Fred Young. And Barr will lead the field goal unit out. Chris Barr, who once kicked in the North American Soccer League for Philadelphia in the mid-70s. This is a 47-yard attempt. And the kick is long enough, and the kick is good.
It's all going right.
47-yard field goal for Barr. Raiders cash in again and lead by a score of 27-7.
Barr's longest field goal.
One thing about these two teams, they play routes. Last year we were here on a Monday night at the half. Seattle led 24-0 en route to a 37-0 victory. This year at the half in L.A., the week after the strike, it was 28-0 Seattle. And tonight, 27-7 Raiders.
Well, you stop and think about what have the Seahawks done so far this football game, with the exception of the big play by with the exception of their lone touchdown, which came extremely early. The Seahawks haven't moved the ball at all. I mean, these guys haven't gone anywhere. They haven't even been able to string together a couple of first downs to keep the Raider offensive team off the field. I mean, it's been a total offensive collapse for Seattle.
Total momentum change. Seattle came out all sparked up, crowd all behind them, and all of a sudden Bo Jackson did some superhuman things on the football field and got the big play from James Lofton, and it's been all Raiders. They've been waiting to explode, though. This is a team with too much talent to have been playing the way they've been playing.
Bo Jackson has been all over the place tonight. We know what he's done offensively. Remember, he fumbled early in the game, and that set up Seattle's score. Here's Edmonds taking the ball out to the 23-yard line. And Seattle, should they elect to use them, has all 3 timeouts remaining with 39 seconds to play in the half. Raiders scoring on 5 of their last 6 possessions. Touchdown, 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 field goal, field goal. And the Seahawks have been dormant. Shotgun and 4 receivers at the 23. Drops it at the 36-yard line.
Scansey was stunned, I think, when James Davis didn't get a hand on it. He thought Davis was going to deflect it, and it almost knocked Scansey down. A little embarrassing. There is James Davis, good position right in front of him. He just missed it. Could have even thought about intercepting it. Scansey said, well, what is this, baby? Put the strings up, I might get it.
A no-no for a receiver, though, rather than looking at Davis.
Look at all the way in your hands.
Your concentration's on the football.
2nd and 10 from the 23. Warner out of bounds. Stephon Adams gets credit for the tackle with 28 seconds to play in the half. And it'll be 3rd down and let's call it 3 at the 30-yard line. The Kingdome, normally so noisy, and right now pretty silent, as Bo Jackson and his mates have put on the whole show for the first half. 27-7 Los Angeles. For the first down, and he may not have it.
Oh, he made a mistake, Al. I think he stepped out early.
It appears that's where they're going to mark it. He's looking for the red stripe along the sidelines, the marker there. And it depends on the spot, obviously.
Well, you can't go just by that marker because the chains are on this side of the field. Let's see what happens, folks.
That's not the official first down marker. As Dan said,
they'll bring the chains in and measure this one. Did he get it?
Apparently they're giving it to him.
Yeah, they are.
A first down.
Actually, those chains are on the other side of the field.
Recognize that man? Jim Plunkett. He is on the physically unable to perform list. The Raiders, in a best case scenario, would have activated Plunkett sometime in the middle of the season. He's on that what they call a pup list, even though he is physically able to play should they elect to activate him, and they've given no indication of such a maneuver at this point.
Oh, look at
From the 33-yard line, Scansey really pays the price. Stacy Turan levels him at the 44, first down.
They'll do anything to Howie Long. They've been double teaming him all night. Watch the bottom of your screen now. Working against Mattis. And almost takes his wardrobe off.
Well, Howie brings a lot of that upon himself because of that underarm. Watch the rip. You see that left arm go up underneath there? That's really not so much the offensive lineman holding him as Howie putting himself in that position by using that rip technique.
Stacy Turan is really hammering body. You saw that shot against Scansey.
That was Turan that came in before. Remember on the short yardage, he got called back and hit Kurt Warner right in the face. But Boy, this time he just levels Scansey. Let's take another look at this one from behind all the time in the world. And hey, Paul Scansey shows a little something popping up from that thing like it was just a walk in the park. That's a major league stroke.
He couldn't have fumbled if he wanted to.
Seattle, after taking a timeout, 11 seconds remain. 4 receivers, and Craig out of the shotgun from the 44-yard line. For Largent, and he does not get out of bounds. He doesn't get out of bounds, and the clock keeps going, and Largent takes a timeout with 1 second. One play.
Boy, I can't agree with that call. I don't agree with that either. How does the official say that he's still in bounds?
Everyone now complaining. No question he was out of bounds. Great toss to get it to him. First of all, Largent knowing exactly what he had to do. He had to get out of bounds, and there he is, driven out of bounds.
Oh, that's a terrible call by the official. I mean, I know the intent, but still, even though the contact is initiated in the field of play, in one continuous motion, Steve Largent is out of bounds.
But how smart is Largent, though? Because Largent realized he kept the clock going, and he got up. And in reality now, they'll only put, if they want to overrule this
and
on the replay, they'll only put a couple of extra seconds back on the clock, so there'll still only be time for 1 play.
The clock back to 3 seconds.
All right, so
3 seconds on the clock.
They agree on the replay that he was out of bounds. It really doesn't matter the way it turns out. They're going to get 1 play anyway. But how smart is Largent to understand what was happening there within 2 seconds and take the time out?
He knew exactly what he had to do. He's such a heady football player. First of all, there's no question that he was out of bounds, but you're right. He kept his cool, knew he had to stop the clock, and he did it. And got the Seahawks in a position where they could put 3 on the board.
Norm Johnson, who can kick them from more than 50, especially indoors, a 54-yard attempt from the 44-yard line. And the kick is no good. Had the distance, but wide to the left. And so that's the end of the half.
You're watching NFL Network.
The Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, where at the half it's 27-7 Raiders, and the Seahawks to kick off to the Raiders as we start the 3rd quarter. Norm Johnson comes forward, and the second half gets underway with a kick that's taken at the 3-yard line by Mueller. Up past the 20, and Vance, out of accidental, comes to the 25-yard line. Bo Jackson back in the lineup as we start the 3rd period at the 25-yard line. Tremendous half for Jackson.
Not bad.
On 1st down, they give it to Marcus Allen out to the 30-yard line. You know, the funny thing is, with Heisman Trophy winners, we talked about Herschel Walker coming to Dallas and Dorsett, but that's a whole other story. There's Tony pretty much nearing the end of his career, Herschel coming into his prime. In this backfield, you got one guy in his prime and one guy whose prime may last for about 8 years.
And 2 great personalities if you're going to have it, though. Both of them can deal with it. That's the good thing about it. No ego problems here with either one of them.
Jackson got past the 30 to the 35 to the 36-yard line, and enough for a 1st down. At the 36, the Raiders with the first down of the 2nd half, and we'll take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes.
Well, the Raiders lead 27-7, and no surprises when you look at those numbers. 315 yards in total offense. Look at the good balance between rushing and passing. I mean, it's dominance everywhere, including the scoreboard. And Bo Jackson has just had a superlative half, as we said, and he's the main reason why those numbers are the way they are.
Hard to believe those numbers coming from a team that's lost 7 straight.
1st down at the 36-yard line. And it's Jackson to the 40.
Look out.
Bo into Seattle territory inside the 40 and down to the 22-yard line. And every time he gets the ball, there's going to be that sense of anticipation.
I think they're going to have to put a handicap on him some way. There's like a thoroughbred. Put some about 18 pounds on him or something.
Well, look at the change of direction. I mean, here's a guy that just totally reverses his field. Now, the whole right side of the line was collapsed. That's why he had that room. If it wasn't for the good angle by Eugene Robinson, Bo would have just continued right down the sidelines. Give Robinson some credit. He recovered from his free safety position and cut Jackson off, or else he's gone on that one as well.
A lot of backs would have got 3 or 4 out of that 5, but not 25 or 30.
First down from the 22. Draw play. It's Mueller inside the 20 and bumped out of bounds close to a first down. Run out by Hunter and Robinson. And Raiders on the move again.
What Jackson does to your offense, he really just changes it all around. You don't have to think pass at 3rd down, 3 or 4. And the Raiders didn't in the first half. If you were with us on a 2nd down and 7, a 3rd down and 6 on key situations, they did not go with the pass. They gave it to Bo Jackson, and he got the first down, and on one occasion got the long touchdown.
I wish I was as good at some of my hobbies as he is at his.
From the 11, it's Marcus Allen. Stopped at the 9-yard line. Hit first by Fred Young.
I'd win the U.S. Open Golf Championship if I was as good at my hobby as he is at this.
How about the one thing we haven't touched on, what Al Davis pulled off? Because as you all know, or most of you do anyway, he was drafted #1 by Tampa Bay, was Bo, opted to play baseball, said don't talk to me about football, I'm a baseball player. And then that made him draftable again. And Al Davis spent a low 7th-round draft choice on number 34.
Well, what the Cowboys spent on Herschel Walker, number 5, wasn't it?
Yep. On 2nd and 8, the pass is caught at the 2-yard line by Dokie Williams.
Can you imagine that Walker and Jackson are both playing in the NFL for a number 5 and a number 7 draft choice?
One thing even wilder would be to imagine them together. Here it is again. And again, Dokie Williams just on a slant. And Mark Wilson getting a lot of confidence and getting a little bit cocky back there. Stands and just drills it in and gets the completion.
Well, I don't know what the Seahawk defensive coaches had to say at halftime, but it doesn't seem to have had a great deal of effect on the Seahawk defense, which is collapsing back to their own goal line.
And the Raiders take a timeout with a 3rd and 1 upcoming from the 2.
Relive championship weekend as the Chargers take on the Patriots and the Giants battle the Packers. Sunday is still game day. Don't miss the action. NFL Replay, Sunday starting at 1, only on NFL Network.
Never buy a used car without a Carfax Vehicle History Report. Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com.
My father played ball. He said after the season was over with, man, they didn't see each other until camp started. They say the season's 5 months, but man, the season's just 12 months long, man. It has to be in order to stay in shape, compete with the best of the best. They make us go about 8 months. Not to mention those other 4 where you don't want to fall behind Pro Bowl guys. It's 12 months long. Oh, yeah, 13 months. 14 in a leap year.
Want to stop back pain that keeps coming back? Only Aleve is so strong it can stop pain all day with 2 pills. That would take 8 Tylenol. Move pain-free. Just move on up to Aleve liquid gels.
This summer, Brian Waters of the Kansas City Chiefs took a bunch of us from Dallas to Arrowhead Stadium. He gave us a tour of the locker room.
This is the Super Bowl trophy.
And we even got to go on the field. Then he took us to the Jazz Museum where we heard some awesome music and learned about studio production. But the best part was just hanging out with Brian.
This is Brian Waters. You don't have to be a chief to make a difference. Volunteer at UnitedWay.org. A little of you goes a long way.
Hi, I'm Jason Taylor, defensive end for the Miami Dolphins and a proud supporter of the ASPCA. And this is Bear. Nothing compares to the love and loyalty of a pet. This guy's a really big part of my team. That's why I can't sit on the sidelines knowing that every day innocent animals are abused, beaten, and neglected. Today, we need you to get in the game. So come on, join the team and help the ASPCA put an end to animal cruelty. Visit fightcruelty.org.
Count down the NFL's top 10s. Debate the game's best moments. And break down everything in the world of football. The NFL's top 10 characters. Tomorrow at 8, only on NFL Network.
I'm Tom Coughlin, and you're watching NFL Network.
Bo Jackson rushing and receiving tonight. 185. And all of the Seahawks at 118.
And he just got here.
And if you're in Seattle, you can't wait till he leaves.
3rd and 1 from the 2. Here's Bo. And here goes Bo for the touchdown. He and Bosworth one-on-one, and Jackson just shoves him into the end zone.
I suggested a handicap of 18. How about 20 pounds?
That's the matchup you like to see. If you're Seattle, Bo Jackson with the ball, Brian Bosworth. Here's Bo Jackson. He's going to go here. Here's Brian Bosworth. They're going to meet on the 2-yard line and end up in the end zone. Watch the Boz. He plays it perfectly, flows to the football, meets Bo Jackson at the 2. Sorry, 220 beats 240 easily.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Barr kicks it through.
Bosworth looking out there. Did you get the number of that truck? Look at it again in isolation, and it's even more remarkable because Bosworth has it Dan exactly where he wants to be at this point.
Oh, he's in perfect position. The shoulders are square. The back dips. He drives into him and gets driven back into the end zone himself.
At first glance, if you just look at average, you're saying that's a pretty good night for a receiver. That's on the ground. Marcus and Bo.
Marcus acting like a press agent.
17-yard rushing average tonight. Out to the 25-yard line. If you're wondering about the NFL record rushing average in a game for 10 or more carries, Marion Motley of Cleveland in 1950 carried the ball 11 times for 188 yards against Pittsburgh, and that's the mark right now. A little more than 17.
Another look at that touchdown. Brian Bosworth right there. But look at Bo Jackson get the leverage, drop his shoulder pad underneath Brian's, and his momentum just shoved Bosworth right back into the end zone. He still doesn't believe it.
There go the sunglasses deal. And the T-shirts.
From the 26. It'll be 2nd and 10.
You know, the amazing thing, this is a stunned crowd. They're just sitting there stunned.
Talk about deals. You think there are some agents licking their lips thinking about how to market Bo Jackson?
Hey, how do you think this effort of Jackson's is being received in Kansas City? Yeah. I mean, if you're a member of the Royals, John Sherrills and their organization, you're saying, oh my gosh, this is the last thing in the world I wanted to have happen. I mean, if you want to be selfish about it, they have to be thinking that way.
2nd down and 10 from the 26. Bo's a different kind of guy, though. From the 26-yard line. It's caught by Tice, and he has a first down out to the 39-yard line. You know, the funny thing about Jackson, Bo, he likes to surprise people. He likes to fool people. Remember when he first signed with the Royals, he said Bo does what Bo wants. He loves to refer to himself in the third person. He likes to surprise folks. But to me, this is a personal observation. Next year with the Kansas City Royals, if he starts the season the way he ended it, he's going to wind up on the bench in baseball. And that may make a big difference in determining what he wants to do in the future. Warner out to the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and there goes Jones and Ron Mattis.
Well, Sean Jones a little upset that Ron Mattis came in at the end of that play. Mattis looking for his hat.
Keep that on at all costs.
Well, I don't think Mattis gave it up on his own. I don't think he had a whole lot of say-so about losing it.
He's strapping it on as he gets set here on 2nd down and 9 from the 40-yard line. Tipped and picked off at the 36-yard line by Van McElroy, who's having a Pro Bowl kind of year on a pass intended for Ray Butler.
And really, the defensive play by Ron Fellows came in a little bit late. That was a ball that just is tipped all the way by the receiver. We'll get a good look at it right from here. Ray Butler coming across. The ball's a little bit high, but as a receiver, you got to get your hands on it, and McElroy stayed with it all the way.
And McElroy is having that Pro Bowl year that Al talked about. That's his 3rd interception of the year, but more than that, he's been the leader back there in that secondary. Diving for the interception here, and when you're having a good year and you're playing like he is, you're where the ball is, and that's what is happening to McElroy this season.
You know, looking at it again from the reverse angle, that ball looked a lot harder for Butler to control than it did from the other angle. I don't know that if he could have kept that thing from being deflected back up into the air.
First down, 41-yard line, and it's Jackson blocking for Allen. And Marcus running for a first down. And this is turning into no contest with the score 34-7, and the Raiders just running at will.
And they got an act going together now. They're on the sidelines laughing, talking on the telephone. Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson. And that time, Jackson with the lead block in against the rookie Tony Woods to get Allen around the corner.
And this is operating behind what is hardly a celebrated offensive line. Again, I remind you, 11 different lines in 11 weeks as we look at these longest rushing plays in NFL history. You're going to see where one of them fits in.
There's the top 5 as they measure here for the first down. And there are the next 6. And there's Bo, who has just moved into a tie for the 8th longest run in the history of the NFL. 2nd and inches at the 49-yard line. A free play here, and Wilson tries to take advantage by going deep. And it is knocked down on a pass intended for Lofton. A floating pass, and Patrick Hunter was able to get there and knock it down. So it'll be 3rd down and inches at the 49-yard line.
Fine play by Hunter just to get back there. We mentioned earlier that he was questionable during the week, shaken up last week in the game against San Diego, but he gets back there, has good position, and knocks it away.
Same play, same participants as a play that resulted in a Raider touchdown in the first half. Hunter and Lofton, that time Hunter played it much, much better and stayed with James all the way down the field.
3rd and inches. Double tight end setup. Marcus Allen picks up the first down. Taking it to the 46-yard line with 9 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Seattle a 9-point favorite and trailing by 27.
Hey, what a Bo Jackson will do for Marcus Allen if he can stick around, and who knows the answer to that question. But if you can keep Jackson and Allen, and the Raiders offense is the kind of offense that can absorb 2 tailback types. A little certainly lengthen the career of Marcus Allen, who carried it so many times back in 1985 when he led the league in rushing. If you can split it up, you can last a lot longer in this league.
Nice little playmate for him. This is Allen taking the ball to the 41-yard line. And again, Marcus, a quarterback and a defensive back in high school. We touched on it before. Blocking back for a while for Charles White at SC, then himself the tailback at Southern Cal onto the Heisman.
You wonder if there are any 2 individuals on a football team that operate closer together than the 2 backs in a backfield. They rely upon each other. They're, in many instances, soulmates. And you really wonder what role Marcus Allen will play in trying to convince Bo Jackson to stay with the Raiders.
On 1st and 10. And he runs out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Wilson had his eye on that marker for the first down, and I think he just did nip it.
Had his eye on number 24, Melvin Jenkins, too.
You see him kind of hunch those shoulders as he went out of bounds. He figured he was going to get himself quite a shot there.
Last time the Raiders won a game in this stadium, it was 1981, and it was Wilson who led him to a victory, and he's led him to a first down here at the 36-yard line. This has been a true house of horrors for the Raiders, going down to 2 bombings the last 2 years by a composite 70-3, but turning the tables tonight with a vengeance.
Nightmare a couple of years for this man too, Mark Wilson. He started on the bench this year. Rusty Hilger was to be the quarterback of the future, and he relieved Hilger twice, and tonight he's making his 3rd consecutive start. He was the man that the forgotten quarterback at the beginning of this year, and now he's the man that is directing them once again.
At the 36-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Raiders with Jackson in motion. Give it to Bo. On a slot back around, he's inside the 30, the 20, and down to the 10-yard line. And I think the Buffalo Bills, who play the Raiders in the Coliseum on Sunday, have just turned their television sets off.
Bosworth again at the line of scrimmage, had a shot at him, and he has to be totally frustrated.
He took a full all-out sprint, dove for him, and I mean, just no chance. I think we got a good ISO on the Boz. Now he reads the reverse right there. He's got the angle. Look at the what. Now he realized he took the wrong angle. You see him break a little bit back to the right and never even got in close.
It is so easy to misjudge a big man when they have speed. Over the years, you watched him do it. They do it to Eric Dickerson now, and when Bo Jackson runs, he looks like a little back, but he's huge.
Here's Allen, and he takes it down to the 5-yard line.
Yeah. Now the one thing we got to point out, guys, is Brian Bosworth took the angle on that play, but in the scheme of the defense, that's really not his play to make. I mean, you can't expect your inside linebacker to be making that play on a reverse. In other words, your corner has to come up and support. Your strong safety has to be in on that play. But still, Bosworth had an angle on him and didn't even get close.
Meanwhile, Marcus Allen, sort of lost in the shuffle tonight, has established a new mark. Career yards rushing, breaking the mark held by Mark Van Egan. 2nd and 4 from the 5. Allen tries to add to that total, but no gain here. It'll be 3rd down and 4 from the 5. A flag is down after Bryant makes the tackle. 6:35 to play in the 3rd. Jerry Markbright to tell us about the call. Who goofed? We have to know. Illegal procedure against the Raiders.
Hey, talk about Marcus Allen. I love what he said in your interview at the halftime. Here's the call.
Illegal formation foul. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
You can't do that. But I love what he said. He said, I've done it all in football. He said, I still want to be as great as I can be. He is a man of total humility, a great class, great style. He is, of course, the Travelers Man of the Year for the Raiders, and that has to do with activity off the football field as much as it does on. And this man is totally involved in so many good works down around the Los Angeles area, and he has done it all. What more could you expect? And we'll hear about the Travelers Man of the Year at the Super Bowl.
2nd down after the penalty, and it's Jackson taking it to about the 5, and Bo, and we'll see how much yardage they give him officially on that. The Raider team record for rushing yardage in the game, 200 yards. Clem Daniels back in '63.
I think that'll put him over the edge, Al.
Against the Jets. And Bo Jackson right now eclipsing that mark. There it is, 12 for 202. Another Raider record.
Yeah, but he's destroying his average down to 16.8.
On 3rd down, it's Lofton, incomplete, covered by Patrick Hunter. So on a night when Allen sets the career mark, who knows if this game goes long enough, Jackson may have the career mark before we're out of here.
The way Seattle's defense is playing, I mean, this is just a total collapse by one of the better defensive units in the game. I mean, they are just being ground up at the line of scrimmage. They're being humiliated in the secondary with receivers running open. They're missing tackles. I mean, they're getting it put to them every way imaginable.
Barr to attempt the field goal. And from the 12-yard line, that 22-yarder is perfect. 5:29 to go in the 3rd. And the Raiders routing the Seahawks.
Baltimore's a great place to pick up dance moves, I find. A lot of heel work. Jazz hands? Anything with jazz hands. I do the hustle just like you. Geico probably thinks this is easy too.
Some people in the world, man, don't like the tattoo deal. All my tattoos that I have mean something to me. The one that I have on my arm is a rose bush of the women of my life. The top rose is my grandmother, then my mom, then my older sister, then my younger sister, then my little nieces. I'm trying to get another rose on my arm for my other grandmother. And, I ain't want to upset her. They mean a whole lot to me.
NFL Network. It's all in the numbers. 32 training camps, more than 50 preseason
postseason games. Over 100 game re-airs and 8 games in prime time. 365 days of the NFL. NFL Network. Football 24/7.
Affliction Clothing presents Banned. The most dynamic fighters in the sport clash in this historic mixed martial arts event July 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, live on DirecTV pay-per-view. A loaded undercard sets the stage for the main event when MMA legend Fedor the Last Emperor Emelianenko battles former UFC heavyweight champ Tim the Maniac Sylvia. Affliction Banned, Saturday, July 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, live on DirecTV pay-per-view.
The battle lines have been drawn.
These are vicious exchanges.
Miguel Cotto, the pride of Puerto Rico, the unrelenting force feared by all.
Cotto continues the vicious assault.
Antonio Margarito, the Mexican warrior, the powerhouse who devastates opponents.
Flurry of punches from Margarito.
Two fearless champions in the battle of the decade. Cotto versus Margarito, Saturday, July 26, live on DirecTV pay-per-view. Don't miss it, live on DirecTV pay-per-view, channel 123.
The Kingdom has never been quieter. 37-7 Raiders. Barr kicks off to Edmonds. Bobby Joe out of the 6-yard line. And out to the 37, and a flag goes down on the sideline.
Well, that's just blatant tripping, and I think you saw it.
I think we're going to get Chris Barr.
Illegal use of the body, tripping foul, number 10 of the kicking team.
He did it well.
Illegal use of the body.
He did not want to hurl that little body in there and make contact with Edmonds. Let's take a look at it again. You really see it from the reverse angle. There he is, Chris Barr, number 10. Oh.
Gets his kicks in.
I've just never heard it described as illegal use of the body.
Leave it to Mark Wright. I love the way he phrases things. Scansey. Inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line.
Scansey is going to need a hot tub tonight. He has been hammered all over this football field. He took a tremendous shot earlier from Stacy Turan. A couple of shots from Turan, and he just really got bombed on that one.
Scansey making that catch. By the way, lost in the shuffle at the end of the first half. Steve Largent making that catch with 3 seconds to go in the half, and he moved past Don Maynard on that catch, and now trails only Charlie Joyner in career yardage.
There's going to be a lot lost in the Bo Jackson shuffle tonight.
You bet. Incomplete. Marker down. Penalty coming up. Intended for Turner, and Sam Seal gets whistled.
Pass interference, number 43, defense, automatic first down.
Shotgun from the 36 after the automatic first down. Here comes the blitz. Turan hits Craig as he lofts it. Incomplete. And Turan really busting that play up to make it 2nd down and 10.
Turan is a big blitz man for the Raiders. Pickup number 30. Timing it out with the count. Spins off the attempted block on the part of Williams and right into the face of Craig before he can find a receiver downfield. Turan's tough, big, strong. 6'2", 200 pounds. And they use him a lot on that blitz.
4:26 to play, 3rd period, 2nd down and 10. Raiders lead 37-7. Warner, good night. Howie Long. Can you believe this team has lost 7 in a row?
Howie Long just lined up on the inside at his defensive tackle position. This is Howie right here. It doesn't get any more basic than that, just shooting the gap. You see Brian Millard, the right guard, pulling, and what's happening there is Mike Wilson, the right tackle, trying to down block on Howie Long. But when a defensive lineman has that great first step, that explosion upfield as a tackle, you don't even get a shot on him, as we saw there.
4 wide receivers and 3rd down long yardage.
3rd and 18 from the 44. Craig looking for Largent, incomplete. That's the noisiest this place has been in over an hour.
This crowd is stunned. So is Dave Craig, chased out of the pocket that time by Bill Pickell.
Rodriguez's kick is fair caught at the 10-yard line by Woods. 34-yard punt. From the 10, 1st and 10, and Bo is in the game. And with the football, and 2:02 now becomes about 2:08, give or take a yard, out to the 16-yard line. And a long night for the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator, Tom Catlin. How do you stop Bo? And that's
you make a trade.
A lot of coaches are going to be asking.
You make a trade for him right now. Giving the next 4 or 5 number 1 picks. He's making everyone look like children out there.
Best day on the ground by any back this year. Charles White, 213 yards a couple of weeks ago against St. Louis for the Rams. Jackson held to a 1-yard gain. Stopped the presses. Out to the 17. Boy, that'll wreak havoc on the average. Gaines and Nash converge on the tackle.
I mean, if you're Seattle, looking at this guy walk back to the huddle, you have to pinch yourself to realize that this is still the 3rd quarter. I mean, this is a nightmare for Tom Catlin and his defensive team to think there's still 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. I mean, they've seen about 4 games worth of offense coming at him already.
And it's true. Every time he gets the ball, he can go all the way. It's a cliche, but in his case, it's true. 3rd down and 2 at the 18, and Wilson gets sacked back at the 9. One brief moment of glory for Brian Bosworth.
The Boz, watch him give a little fake like he's going back, then the delayed blitz, and nobody even takes a stab at him. And Mark Wilson decides that discretion is the better part of valor and chews on a little AstroTurf.
Boz did show that speed, though. He has great acceleration. He'll be a great linebacker. There he is talking to Tom Catlin. Catlin been around with Chuck Knox for 15 years. Very high on his young middle linebacker.
If you're wondering who the Raider punter is, it's Stan Talley, and it's his first kick of the night. It comes out of the end zone, and Edmonds lets it bounce. And it bounces back into Raider territory, and they'll spot it down at the 49-yard line with 1 minute and 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 40-yard kick by Talley, the man who replaces the retired Ray Guy. At the 50-yard line, Craig, and here's the all-time flag.
Van McElroy, good luck trying to hide on that one.
Pass interference, number 26, defense, automatic 1st down.
33-yard penalty at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10. Well, we've had our all-time interference, and that's your all-time offside unless Sean Jones was drawn.
Well, he was. Ron Mattis, the tackle moved. I think that'll go against Seattle. He was drawn offsides. The question will be whether he could have gotten back.
Offside, number 99, defense.
See, there's the key. Let me show you something. I want you to watch Ron Mattis, the left tackle. Now, he's going to rock back a little bit. Jones comes across, but Jones, you see, has time to get back. You see that? See, Sean Jones, because there was no contact, should have gone back and crossed the line of scrimmage. You don't get a free shot in that respect, and because the offensive tackle was in a 2-point stance on his feet, he can move a little bit like that.
Or step across and make the contact.
Or make the contact. He should have turned, talking about Sean Jones, and gone back to the line of scrimmage and lined up again.
1st and 5 from the 11-yard line. And Craig lofts it into the end zone and knocked away. Intended for Largent and swatted away by Ron Fellows, the former Cowboy.
Is that a sidearm delivery I saw?
2nd and 5. And there is Largent. We mentioned before he moved into 2nd in yardage. He's 2nd to Joyner in receptions and 6th behind Don Hudson for touchdown receptions. And he's not thinking about retiring, so he'll be on top in all of those categories. Craig throwing, and he hits John L. Williams down at the 2-yard line for a 1st down. Rod Martin with the tackle. First and goal. No gain. 2nd and goal. Martin and King get credit for the tackle. Sam Shield comes up for support.
I think the Raiders are making a statement here to Chuck Knox that if you want a touchdown, you're going to have to earn it. There's no gliding into the end zone down here. I think this is a chance for a team that's lost 7 games in a row to vent a whole lot of frustration here tonight.
2nd and goal. Craig looking for Tice, the tight end, and has him for the touchdown. Mike Tice came across, got free, goes in for the score. And we've got the Seahawk that's let loose, flying around the Kingdom.
This is a pattern that takes a lot of time because here's Mike Tice. He'll release right here and work all the way under the formation. He'll then get picked up by Van McElroy, but a type of play action like this takes some time. You can see how Craig isn't even pressured. McElroy too late on the coverage.
We told you there was a Seahawk flying around in here.
I just wonder where that Seahawk goes.
Yeah, I do too.
I know one thing, he's not tired tonight.
Are we really seeing that? Kick by Johnson is good. Meanwhile, I want to know where the Seahawk went. Final play in the 3rd period. Doki Williams after the 13-yard line, and the crowd hopeful, trying to get back into it. Hopeful the Seahawks can get back into it. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Raiders lead 37-14.
The NFL Network.
Here's Dan's mechanical bird still circling.
Yeah. That's some battery. That's a live bird, if you're wondering. We're kidding about it, but somebody released a bird. I don't know if it's a Seahawk or not. We'll have to call the Audubon Society, but that bird is still flying around in the dome. And here's Marcus Allen taking it out to the 23-yard line. And I guess it's a good thing for that bird that Dave Winfield doesn't play here.
All right, we watched Brian Bosworth be a step late on a couple plays. Let's see how he reads this run by Marcus Allen. He fights off the block on the left side of Brian Holloway, gets leg whipped by Holloway, still stays on his feet and gets in on the tackle. That's a good effort by Brian Bosworth, and it was a good look at an offensive lineman using a leg whip. Brian Holloway, the left tackle, got that heel right up into the hip region of Brian Bosworth, and hey, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
You ever do that?
All the time. It's really in many ways an instinctive reaction. You're out of position, you're going to the ground, and you're just doing whatever you can do to get a piece of your body on the guy you're trying to block. But boy, a lot of defensive players have been hurt by that technique.
You're thinking perhaps it could be your leg, even your thigh, and all of a sudden it's your heel.
Sure.
Second down and inches for the Raiders at their own 23-yard line. Start of the 4th quarter. Raiders on top 37-14. Crowd noisy. But Wilson trying to call the signals anyway. Marcus Allen takes it out to the 27-yard line. And a 1st down for the Raiders. Seahawks scored first way back when. Bo Jackson fumbled. Seattle cashed in, but since then it has been all L.A.
All Bo Jackson.
With a little help from Marcus.
Not a lot of help from Marcus. Both of them blocking well for each other, and the Raiders the first time this year in the NFL, 300 yards plus rushing. You're wondering about the NFL record for rushing. It's held by Walter Payton at 275 yards.
Back in 77 against Minnesota. Here's Bo Jackson, who's up and over 200, and every yard he gains adds to his new Raider record as he takes it out to the 31-yard line. His new Raiders single game record, and again Marcus Allen establishing a new Raider career mark tonight. NFL, there it is, Peyton back in 77, and then OJ had the 2 big games, 273, 250. Willie Ellison, Rams back in 71, and Cookie Gilchrist with the Bills, 63.
One year OJ went over 2,000. He had back-to-back games of over 200 yards.
Jackson on the draw, and he he still is able to squirt forward. Bosworth had him around the ankle, and Bo able to lunge forward to turn it into a minimal gain.
A good read that time by Brian. That was a delay play. Some people, the old description might call that a drag draw. The quarterback going back. Wilson that time looked to Bo Jackson, gave the play away a little bit. First guy in was Jacob Green, but then Brian Bosworth came in and brought Jackson to the ground. Mark Wilson, the quarterback, isn't supposed to look at the running back as blatantly as he did that time, delivering the ball to Bo Jackson.
Third down, short 6 at the 32-yard line. And Bo Jackson out for a first down to the 39-yard line.
He did it again. He just bounced right off. It was Freddie Young that time at the line of scrimmage.
When he was coming up, just breaking in at Auburn as a freshman, and Herschel Walker had already established himself at Georgia as something super sensational, the Auburn folks kept saying, we've got somebody better than Herschel. And naturally the inclination was to go, sure. At the 39-yard line. Marcus Allen for a gain of 1. Of course, the funny thing about Bo, too, when you look back at his college career, one of the raps on Bo Jackson was that he was brittle, that he missed too many games with what people suspected were minor nagging injuries.
Well, and people who were of a mind to be critical of Bo Jackson at that time thought that that was the reason that he opted for baseball. A lot of people who were critical of his senior year at Auburn, where they thought that, and I'm talking now about critics, nobody knows for sure, but they thought he could have played a couple games his senior year when he chose not to.
2nd and 8 from the 41, and Lofton gets wrapped around, and there's your flag.
Oh, it came in late, but Hunter was on Lofton, but it appeared that he made the contact after the ball had already gone by them. Told you about Hunter, who was injured last week against Green Bay, was questionable this week, and now he's...
Pass interference, number 23, defense, automatic first down.
Now he's limping visibly.
Well, I don't know how long Hunter's going to limp around like that without getting tested deep by the Raiders.
At the 49-yard line, nothing develops for Marcus Allen. Joe Nash, the first to make contact.
I mean, I think the Seahawks right now have to seriously think about taking Patrick Hunter out of the ballgame. Or they're going to come right after him with James Lofton or Bo Jackson. Somebody's going to challenge him up the sideline to this side of the field.
He gets cramps too, and it looks like he might have a problem right now with that.
Well, they're missing Kerry Justin, who underwent surgery, and he was obviously placed on injured reserve, so they're a little weak depth-wise in the secondary.
They put Lofton right over in front of him.
Yeah, one-on-one. And Lofton gets taken down as the sack is made. The blitz was on. Bosworth gets the sack, but you talk about a takedown. In the secondary, Lofton was just wrestled down by Patrick Hunter. He had no chance.
And I think everybody in the stadium is looking right at that confrontation.
And there's a flag here, too, on this.
Watch this. Hunter, beaten badly, has no choice. He just tackles James Lofton.
3 points.
He has no choice. You got to take this kid out of the ballgame.
Or take himself out of the ballgame. He can do that also.
Well, you admire his courage for attempting to play hurt, but sometimes you hurt your team in doing so.
On number 23 on the defense, 5 yards and an automatic first down.
Still, they're not even indicating they might take him out yet.
I mean, this is a tough game, and the Seahawks, I think, might be a little naive here if they don't think the Raiders aren't going to come right back. I mean,
they'll see it again, but they leave Hunter in there.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Bosworth wants to know what happened to my sack. It's good for the personal highlight film, but it doesn't count.
Well, this time it's Jesse Hester they bring over on top of Patrick Hunter.
Yeah.
Brace yourself, Hunter.
Yep. He's going to get some help, though.
Yeah, look at the way Robinson is moving over.
And Wilson's going to look the other way for Doki Williams, and He can't hold on. It's Jenkins covering. Jenkins playing the other side. 2nd and 10. 9:40 to play. 4th period. Raiders lead by 23. Second and 10. Low. Stopped by Kenny easily. And it'll be 3rd down and 10.
3rd down, Paulie.
3rd down 10 from the 44-yard line. And off the fingertips of Doki Williams, with Jenkins there covering on the play.
Seattle brought the full blitz, and they had once again Lofton all lined up one-on-one with Patrick Hunter, but they chased Wilson out of the pocket. He was unable to go to Lofton, and Lofton had beaten Hunter.
I was very surprised that Seattle was leaving Hunter locked up one-on-one. James ran a crossing pattern, and Hunter was a good 2 to 3 steps behind him, but the crossing pattern was away from the direction in which Wilson was flushed. He had no opportunity to get it back across the field.
Bobby Joe Edmonds, his dad played in the old ABA with the Pacers back in the 60s. Staying tally. Big rush, gets the kick away, and Edmonds fields, drops it, and recovers his own fumble at the 18-yard line. Eddie Anderson there to stop him. From the 18-yard line, the Seahawks start from the shotgun on 1st and 10. And Craig gets sacked by Greg Townsend. Back at the 5-yard line.
You look at this team and you say, how in the world did they lose 7 in a row? They have dominated totally here. It gets to you when somebody like a Bo Jackson does what he did as early as he did in this game.
Seattle, I think, is going to have to take a timeout. They were down to 5 seconds on the 30-second clock, and a timeout's been called.